Hello, hockey fans. The Minnesota Hockey Connection is on the air. We're on the air for the next half hour. I'm Kenny Gallagher along with Jerry Burrow. And today we have a special guest, head coach of Denfeld, Duluth Denfeld, Dale Jago. Dale, welcome to the program.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, welcome.
Coaching the high school, you were assistant coach under Brendan Flaherty for how long?
6 years. I think it was 6 or 7 years. It kind of runs together, but yeah, I was with Brendan for 6 or 7 years.
And you've got the Denfeld and Marshall game on January 16th circled. Ready?
That's entirely not true. That was that was our friendly media at work. No, I have a lot of respect for that program, for the coaches,
sure,
for not only Brendan but for Bill, and a lot of those kids, all of those kids I coached at some point for 3 or 4 years. So I like to see them doing well. I see they're off to a great start. And no, I don't have it circled. It's if anything, it's I'm looking to have a good hockey game against a good program. They got a good team this year, so it's a good measuring stick for where we're at going into a part of the. I mean, we got East Marshall and Hermantown that same week, so we get through that week, see where we're at, and then we'll get back to maybe reality a little bit. But I want to see how we do against them, and of course I want to play against some of the old kids I coached and see how they're doing.
So you must like coach and become a head coach.
Yeah, I mean I do. I love working with the kids, especially. Like I've told them already that you can have a bad day at work and go and work with them for 20 minutes, half an hour, and all of a sudden everything's gone and you got kind of a smile on your face, and it's true, they put me in a better mood when I've arrived, not very happy. So it's, but some of the back end stuff that goes on, I tell you, I should be in a straitjacket some days. But it's really fun.
I've always been curious because you've played at different levels, college, professional, and now you're coaching at the high school level. Are there different, attitudes, levels of motivation? Maybe in the pros they get paid for it.
Sure.
And then college, it's
it's like I've always said, bantam hockey is the last age of innocence as far as a hockey player goes. I think that's where they're still allowed to play and make plays to a certain within their skill sets and stuff, but you're still a kid and you're still playing. As you get up, and even high school, I'm not saying programs around here, but some of them get pretty structured and have to play a certain way or they don't play. And so, and then as you go up, you think politics exists in minor hockey or something like that. I've coached minor hockey as well, and I've never had a dog in the race, mind you, but these coaches are certainly not in it to hamper any kid's development or, into the, sorry for the language, but to screw anybody. They're in it for the best reasons, but as you go up, that's when it really gets political, and you get teams investing money in you, and there's more money in that guy, so this guy plays more than you because they got more money. It was a higher round draft pick. That's just over in North America, and then you get overseas. Then you can run into whatever. You got imports, and you got everybody from different countries. It can get really, really kind of greasy.
Well, at Denfeld, you got 20 kids that have 20 different personalities. I mean, coaches always say you got to treat them all alike, but hey, you got to treat this one different because he's a little more. Oh yeah, that's it's tough on.
That's one of the hardest things. That you got to figure out their personalities and how to push their buttons.
Right.
I'm a firm believer. I mean, we'll get wins if I can get everything out of these kids that they didn't know that they could get out of them. So you have to treat each player different. Everybody says they have favorites or whatever. Some of my favorite players have been, just fifth or sixth defensemen. They're my favorite players.
A role player. Or something like that,
but everybody thinks because this guy gets more ice time than that guy that's your favorite. Well, that's not always. That's not always the case. He might just have a different skill set than the other guys. But it's 5 games in, and it's a work in progress, and I'm
Learning
starting
experience.
to learn. Yeah, it's learning experience.
3
that's for
wins,
sure.
2 losses.
Yeah,
Big game tonight. We're taping Tuesday the 5th. Big game tonight with Greenway.
yeah, excited.
Yeah.
And then Thursday you go right back out to Cloquet and play the former coach of Duluth
Yeah.
Denfeld, Kevin Smalley.
Yeah. So we got to get through we got to take one game at a time, I guess, one shift at a time. But this is a section game against Greenway, so we scrimmaged them earlier, but Grant didn't play half of his team. Some kids were sick, some had some injuries. So, but having said that, he even said that we outworked him that game. So it's I'm really looking forward to tonight. It's a big section game. At some point, I think in our section, it's to get where everybody wants to go. You're either going to have to go through Greenway or Hermantown somewhere
Right.
along the way.
Right.
So this will be a good measure for us. I think it's being televised, so I think our kids are
Right.
excited for that and excited to open up with their new jerseys and
Unveiling New Jersey.
well, it's kind of we had to get some new jerseys. The other ones are a little battered up, but
No, is there
we've
a-
already wore them once. But I don't think much of our school body has seen them and stuff. They're pretty cool. And then we got a couple or another set arriving this week sometime. But so we're excited to play Greenway tonight.
So what's your goal on this team being the first year? And another thing, tell us, how are you going to get the numbers up so you can have a JV team? This is one of the weirdest things I've seen in hockey in high school, where high school team doesn't have a JV team. That's kind of sad. I hope things work out where you can get the numbers up, and because that's a feeding point, that JV team, to get to the varsity.
Right. Well, I'll tell
You knew that coming in.
Yeah, for sure I did.
Yeah.
I've been back in Duluth full time since 2004 after playing overseas and stuff. But how do you stop it? Well, number one, you got to retain your own players. Number two, I think you got to keep your players playing. I think I've discussed this with you before, Jerry, that the costs associated with hockey up until Bantam is unknown. Everybody goes, oh, it costs too much money. It costs too much money. Well, I disagree with that. There's plenty of money there's plenty of help or resources that allow the kids to keep playing. So we got to keep those kids playing, and we got to keep losing our kids up the hill and stuff. But as an organization and stuff, I think the coaches and some input from the high schools and stuff is you got to once you get into bantams and stuff, you don't have to be in the cities every week or out of town every week. There's enough around here that you can schedule, that you can make it affordable, and there's enough good competition, I think. It's certainly for our program, but then it's I don't think we need to have bantams practicing 4 and 5 days a week. That's ice assessments. That adds to the cost. So, how do you do it? I think there's 3 or 4 ideas, but in order for us to grow our program and keep our kids, there's nothing like winning that keeps people interested in the program. And it's all you have to do is look at a couple programs around here that. Right. Even you take Mike's program. Once Mike started winning there was a lot of kids playing hockey. Not that there wasn't before, but the same with Denfeld. When Denfeld in the 80s and early 90s was winning, there was not a numbers problem. So, got to get back to winning, and that's and that includes keeping our best players here. And I think there's some of the youth kids, God bless them, have said to each other that they're staying at Denfeld no matter what. So.
Dale Jago joins us, head coach at Duluth Denfeld. Dale, you played at UMD back in, 86, 87 was your first season there. You were there the full term, 4 years. What are some of your memories from UMD? Who were some of the players that you maybe tried to fashion your style after? You were a defenseman.
Well, yeah, I was a defenseman, yeah. So I came in 86, 87, and that's when the year before was when Matt Christensen had his stroke. So that was they were in fourth place with 3 points out of second or first.
Now he was playing boot hockey at Duluth Heights, I believe, when that happened.
Yeah, he was playing street hockey or something somewhere. But So anyways, they graduated some guys, number one being 3-time All-American Norm McIver. So I was, I wasn't as offensive as Norm. I was a little bit more of a hybrid, a little bit better maybe in my own zone. He was wicked good with the offensive part and stuff. So, but I think I was recruited to come in and maybe fill a half of that. Or
Who recruited you?
Yeah, I was going to ask.
Glenn Kulick.
Oh, really?
Glenn Kulick.
He's still around, too.
Recruited a lot of players over the years.
Great guy.
And some great players.
Yeah.
Great guy.
Yeah, Glenn he put on a lot of miles, and a lot of those guys that he recruited reside in Duluth still. So yeah.
So 4 years at UMD, and then you went to the Canadian national team, and I have a hockey database here says 3 games.
I had a cup of tea. That's about it.
Okay.
Yeah. They brought me in to. It was basically it was for the Moncton Cup. It was to bring in guys to evaluate, but also give guys that were going to be playing in the tournament a break in the schedule.
And then
They were evaluating for the '92 Olympics. So at that time there was one defensive position open, and I think Gordie Hines that played for Boston filled that position. So it was, that's just part of the stuff that we talked about earlier. You get up into the next levels. They got stuff pretty set. 5'9" defense. Me and Kip Noble, he was a kid that played at Tech. We're at there at the same time. And
were you drafted?
No.
Okay, so and then you go overseas. Tilburg Trappers. What league is that?
That's in Holland.
Yep.
Holland. Okay.
Yeah, I was there for 3 years.
Is that an offensive league? 'Cause you got a lot of points there.
I played with one of the best imports in Roger Corco played for the Islanders, was one of our imports. But the best thing that happened to me when I was in Tilburg, we had a French Canadian coach, and he called me in about after the third probably regular season game, and he goes, "What's the story?" And I said, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "You better get moving up the ice, or we're going to find somebody else." So he basically gave me the green light, and I never looked back. So.
Well, I was going to say, you were playing defenseman. You had 23 goals your first season there, 17-10.
I'm looking 2 points a game.
Yeah. Well, I lined up at defense.
Okay.
I lined up there.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I wouldn't say.
You ended up there.
I think it was a French word for.
You were
French
pinching
word.
a lot.
But then Jerry, then the next year, 3 years at Tilburg, then 93-94, Peterborough Pirates of the BHL.
That's the British Ice Hockey League.
77 goals in 56 games, 81 assists, 158 points. Were you the MVP?
Yeah, I think. Well, for our team or for the league? No, that was
What was going on there,
well,
Dale? My goodness.
you could only have so many imports. So each team had like 3 imports.
Yeah.
And then you're playing against 18 to 22-year-olds.
Right.
And a lot of them were British players. So basically there was 2 or 3 teams in the league that could afford to have 3 lines of the best British guys and the best Canadians or Canadians with passports or Americans with passports.
It must have been a fun time playing
it was
hockey
fun, yeah.
and
So I never
putting
came
up these
off-
kind of points
Yeah, never
as a
came
defenseman.
Never came off the ice.
My goodness. And then Peterborough, you go to Manchester, the Manchester Storm. You were there for 3 seasons. Again, putting up some big numbers. Newcastle, the River Kings. Looks like it might be a little different league, maybe.
No, that was, I mean,
changed,
so
or-
I dropped a league to go to Manchester my first year. So I was in the elite league or whatever they called it. And then I dropped, they started this super league. So then they opened up, there was a Bosman rule that there was no imports. So there was, I think we had a cross-pollination of like 2 Swedes, 14 Canadians, and 6 Americans.
Did you know any players? Any of the
Yeah, Chris
Canadians?
Miller from Greenway played
okay.
on my team. He was my defense partner at UMD. There was a couple guys I ran through or played against or brought to Manchester.
So is that his kid that's playing for Greenway now?
Yeah, it's Chris's kid. I believe he's a Bantam last year.
He's
moved
a
up this year.
D1 recruit already.
Yeah, he's going to St. Cloud. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. I bet if he's anything like Chris, he probably can skate. Chris Miller might be the strongest guy I've ever seen in my life as far as a hockey player. But yeah, so I moved down a division there because Manchester had built this arena for the Can-Am game, or pardon me, the Commonwealth Games. So they had to put a team in there to fill 42 dates. So that was us, and the hockey was even a different level than that. So there was a lot of, but it was at the same time we grew the sport. We were at the end of the year we were selling out. We were getting 17,000 people.
Really?
Yeah.
So that's amazing.
Yeah. So I was up for an award, and actually, you could ask my wife. There's this little squeaky soccer player. He's 21 years old, and I said you should probably go get his autograph. So my wife went up, or it was my girlfriend at the time, said, well, she said my husband said I should get your autograph. So, and it was David Beckham. So,
Oh my!
Wow.
you know,
Did you get the autograph?
yeah, she did. Moving in some big circles there. I'll tell you.
Yeah. And final, look, and this is according to hockey database, Bad Nauheim,
Bad Nauheim, Germany.
and 42 games, 30 points, and that was it.
I was hurt all year there.
That's correct.
No, that's a little short. I was so Bad Nauheim was in Germany, and I tore a ligament in my ankle, and also they thought a herniated disc, but that's after Germany, I went to Denmark for 3 years.
Oh my!
Played in a town called Hirschholm, which is 22 kilometers from Copenhagen. We had our second kid there. My first kid was born in Newcastle. And then after 3 years in Denmark, I went to Norway for my last year. And that
How
was
did you
that.
get back to Duluth after all that traveling and
Well, I'm from.
not being from Duluth? You're okay.
Yeah, my wife's got her master's degree. She stayed here for the first couple of years to get her master's degree.
Is she from Duluth?
She's from Burnsville.
Okay.
Minnesota girl.
Yeah, but I always came back here because my hometown in Manitoba is only 500 people, so we don't really have the facilities to do what we want or to stay in shape and.
Were you a Winnipeg Jets fan growing up?
No, not really.
Really?
No, there was. I liked the Maple Leafs when I was real young, but
Yeah.
then there was a guy, Wayne Gretzky, and the Oilers came along
Yeah.
in the '80s, who everybody hated, and I was at a boarding school at the time, so everybody was Flyer fans, and I was an Oiler fan. So
You know, there's been so many good players. There's been so many good players since Wayne Gretzky. Why does he stand out so much? Was he just that much better?
well, I think he was. Yeah, and they were winning cups, and he was breaking records, and
But he was just above everybody else so far.
at that time he
Yeah.
was for sure. Yeah,
I mean, you can compare players to Wayne Gretzky, but he was, I don't know, the Babe Ruth of the NHL.
The greatest thing about Wayne Gretzky and Bob Orr and those guys is they're so humble, and they're the greatest person. I mean, Bob
Right.
Orr, he's my favorite player ever.
Right.
But you look at him and his interviews.
He's my favorite player.
You would think that he's just some guy.
Can hardly walk.
Yeah, but yeah, so that I like the Oilers and
Yeah.
kind of still do, and
Okay.
but I see it's nice to see the Leafs doing well sometimes.
Right. Finally. But going back to Denfeld, no one really knows who your coaches are. Can you give us a little?
Oh yeah, it's because something's going on with our site there on.
Tell us a little bit about your
Yeah,
assistants.
so the guy that's coaching the forwards is a Denfeld grad, Jake Johnson.
Oh, right. He was a great
Jake.
player.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Little-
Northern Michigan, he played
Yeah,
D1.
great hands.
Yeah.
Great high school player.
Good kid.
Yeah,
Wow.
tenacious little guy.
Wow.
Worked, and so Jake. Yeah, you're right. Jake went to Northern Michigan and then had a year in Germany and then had to quit because of injury. And then our guy that's working with our defense is Ryan Garris. Ryan played here at UMD.
Yeah, Alexandra boy.
Yep.
I remember him.
Yeah,
Back in
had
high school.
concussions problems and had to sit out a year or two. But he's helping. And then our goalie coach is Ben Watkins. He's a goalie that played over at
Wasn't he your goalie coach up in
Marshall, yeah.
Marshall, yeah, from Albert Lee.
Yeah.
I remember seeing him. He was
Played
a
at
good goalie in high
UWS.
school. Yeah.
Yep. And then we got a guy that from UMD that's helping out is Alex Koschuk, is Jim Knapp, my former UMD assistant coach, asked if I could help this kid do his practicum and coach, and it's a class for UMD. So
Okay.
we obliged him. He's been really, really good addition. So
We're an assistant under Brendan Flaherty at Duluth Marshall. We're with Dale Jago, head coach of Duluth Denfeld, and this opportunity came up, and here you are.
yeah, I'm excited. And
Yeah.
we've got off to not a bad start. We were up 2-0 on Minnehaha in our first opening game, and then we kind of forgot how to play. and we resorted back into some bad habits.
Was that just a bad game, or was Minnehaha that much better?
No, I don't think Minnehaha's as good as Egan.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, they might be a little bit bigger, but they certainly weren't as quick.
Right.
And so we got up 2-0 after the first, and then we took two dumb penalties that got them back in the game. And from there, you can see the body language, and I just let them roll with it. I wanted them to try and figure it out themselves. And you know, there was all said and done, there was 17 minors in that hockey game. So, and that was, as far as I'm concerned, that was little. I better be careful what I say, but yeah, it was a good learning experience for us that we took our foot off the gas and got out of our structure and the way we're supposed to play, and it came back and bit us. And so
Jerry touched on it a little bit, being that there's no junior varsity, and the Duluth News Tribune had a story, September 7th, keeping Denfeld players at Denfeld. Is that a goal of yours? Is that something that you saw prior to even coming here to maybe try to work on?
Oh, sure.
What do you do? How do you accomplish something? Incentives, or just?
So the one I'll tell you right now why we didn't have a JV team is I didn't think we had enough numbers.
Right.
And if we didn't have enough numbers, you can only play 4 periods. So I would have had to have seniors and juniors playing at least 1 period of JV. Well, that when you're a first-year coach, some guys will do that and think, you know, we'll do anything for you, coach, kind of thing. Well, you get into December and January. Injuries. And they're going to say, this isn't that. This is not fun. Because our JV team would have been chasing the puck because we don't have the numbers and we don't have the quality at the moment. So where's our development going to take place? So I encourage some of the kids that made our cuts is they were told that they're not going to play a whole lot, but I hope that they can develop, and we'll get them in when we can. And the other kids, some of them went to junior gold. This is the biggest number that we've ever had for junior gold in Duluth in about 10 years. So they almost have enough for 2 teams. So I just made a snap decision on that right away. It's just that that's the way it was going to be, and so.
How do you turn it around? How do you get those numbers up?
Win. You got to win, and you got to. A lot of these. I know it's Duluth, and it happens all over the place. But this distinction of AA, A, B, B1s or whatever. There's way too much. It holds way too much water. It's not even important. It's you got to keep these kids playing. Everybody develops at a different rate. Everybody grows at a different rate. Everybody matures and goes through puberty at a different rate. So we're trying to rush them along when everybody should be. They're not Secretariat 36 lengths ahead. Just let them develop at the rate that they're supposed to, and play with their peers and get used to making those. When you play in your level that you're at, you get used to making the same decisions over and over and over. Well, then, as you move up to different levels, it gets quicker. But you can you're used to making those decisions. All you have to do is just make them quicker. But when you put a kid in that has never made those decisions or has to make them at a different rate already and hasn't had experience making them. You're setting them up for failure. So that's I just wanted to we'll get kids playing again. I don't think it's a thing of getting kids to play. It's getting kids to keep playing.
Right.
So
basically your goal is just get better every game.
Yes.
5-22 last season.
Yep. So tell us a little bit about this team that you have. Some of the players and some of the seniors and.
Well, we got a really good group of seniors, and right now, I was just, as I mentioned to you earlier, against Egan, Ben LaFont is one of our senior goaltenders, and he put on a show the other night that was, I think he had 52 saves or something. So He was,
Wow.
well, I had a talk with him. I asked him if, and this was what I like. I said, I don't know if I want to put you through this anymore. I might pull you in the third. And he goes, no, I'm good. So if you can get that kind of attitude to
Right.
resonate through your team and get it through 8 to 10 to 12 kids, you're going to have a pretty good basis if they're going to say, no, I'll show you. So, yeah, we got, I think we got, well, Brady Bastier's one of our seniors back.
Yeah, he was your leading
Marciniak,
scorer from last year.
Ellefson.
Yeah, another.
So
Who are your captains?
Bastier, Ellefson, and Marciniak.
Okay, the top three scorer,
Yeah.
3 out of the last.
And then there's 2 defensemen, Ian Dahl and Isaac Smith.
Okay.
And Isaac Smith initially wasn't going to come and play, but his teammates talked him into it, and he's been a pleasant surprise, I'll tell you.
Why, he took a couple years off hockey? Or
Nope,
something?
he's a good baseball player and was going to just take the winter off and develop as a baseball player. And a couple of his teammates talked him into it, and he came back, doesn't say a word, and just works. It's
Good.
He's it's exactly what we're looking for.
I see you beat North Shore 4-3. I saw them prior to maybe it was at the Jamboree.
Yeah,
and
they were at the
there's some big
Jamboree.
boys on that team.
Yeah, they got a good team. I think we were better than them, but they had some
They had some
opportunities.
size.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
They got 3 or 4 big guys. So
And then you beat South St. Paul 4-1. Nice win.
yeah, that was a nice win. That's probably one of our complete games. We kind of put it all together. They got their last goal on in the last minute and 37 seconds or something. So we were all over them. That was their first game of the season, and Alex Staylock actually came and watched the game.
Nice.
He's friends with Garris.
Nice.
And then
Have you changed anything? Being an assistant, the head coach is, he runs the show, so to speak. Have you come in with any expectations or goals? Is that your style?
oh, of course, yeah. Expectations is you're supposed to be on time. My expectations is for every one headache, there's that person. We got 21 kids. They're accountable to each other plus 4 coaches or 5 coaches. So my coaches are accountable to me to be on time, to have things prepared, to do their tasks. So that's what we're trying to establish with these kids is you take a dumb penalty. It's not just you that took the dumb penalty. It's now you got to be held accountable to the whole group. So there's a lot of expectations. We got a pretty good hockey team. I think we're a better hockey team than is being led on. I think, and my goal is to try and get them to the Amsoil.
Real quick, I want to get back to your time here at UMD, coming to UMD. Were you recruited by any other teams?
Oh, I had offers. Yeah, I had an offer before Christmas with Wisconsin. I had an offer before Christmas with Western Michigan.
Why UMD? What stood out? Why did you want to come here?
Well, we came actually. If you want to know the truth, we came down here on a road swing. We played Cloquet as in a scrimmage, and then we played UMD freshmen and sophomores.
And that
the
team
night
was-
before we went to the game, and Brett Hull was playing, and Normie, and
sure.
Ozzy, and all those guys. And then we went down and played Hill Murray, who ended up winning the state championship that year. We scrimmaged them. We beat them 2-1. We played the University of Minnesota's JV team, lost to them 8-6. Went up to Hibbing.
Now, what team is this?
Notre Dame Hounds.
Oh,
It was a
okay,
boarding school
okay,
out of
okay.
They've
Saskatchewan.
been in Minnesota a lot.
So I played here, and I was talking to Glenn, and then we basically our tap for recruiting got shut off because we were contending for the national championship, which was called the Air Canada Cup at the time. So there was no more trips. So I never came on my recruiting trip until I want to say May
Yeah.
to UMD. So I was kind of unknown going here, but Glennie and Mark Odnicon took me to a baseball game at Wade Stadium. That's how late my recruiting trip was. So.
You know, we're out of time.
Yeah,
Dale
goes
Jago.
fast. Yeah.
It's been great. Head hockey coach at Duluth Denfeld. We want to thank the staff at PACT-TV. Find us on Facebook and like us there, MinnesotaHockeyConnection.com. And we're on YouTube as well. Dale Jago, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
best
you.
of luck this year.
Good luck. Thank you. Go Hunters.
We'll see you next week.